Chase Center, where the Warriors will begin their 7th season at the building after leaving Oracle Arena out in Oakland, California. They've had a lot of success at Chase Center as we welcome everybody to our Dubs Talk season preview, brought to you by our great friends at Mancini Sleep Road. I'm with the Hall of Famer, Warriors insider Monty Poole. Petaluba's fight is back again. Warriors reporter Dalton Johnson. I am Bonte Hill, and basketball is back, boys. Finally, Monty.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a long summer because, of course, not much happened. We just wait. But now, boom, let's go.
Are you ready to go, Dalton?
No more talking, time to do. I'm ready to see the actual play on the floor for the Warriors now.
And Monty teased it here. A stalemate all summer long with Jonathan Kuminga and the organization, the Golden State Warriors. Well, the contract stalemate is finally over, folks, as Jonathan Kuminga returns to Golden State, signing a 2-year, $48.5 million deal, including a team option on the second season. After summer-long negotiations, the Warriors increased their initial offer by a total of $8 million. Here's what J.K., Jonathan Kuminga, and general manager Mike Dunleavy had to say about the deal.
Well, I mean, as far as the negotiations go, I think it was fair, reasonable, no issues on my end. I think just sometimes these things take time. So, but by my account, I'm all good with it. I feel good about the deal we've done and really the deal for J.K. I think it's good for both sides.
Do you anticipate him, coming in, bought in?
Absolutely. He signed the deal. We agreed upon it, and I think he's from all accounts, had a pretty good offseason. Seems like he's been in the gym working, and I think he'll be in shape. He'll be ready to go, committed about the team. Have no reason to believe otherwise.
Jonathan, do you view this new deal as betting on yourself? Obviously, there's some terms, and it's kind of a one-year deal with the team option. Do you view this as betting on yourself moving forward?
I wouldn't say that. But I'll tell you, me betting on myself is helping us win the championship. And I think that's our goal, and that's how we're all looking at it. But, I'm blessed. I'm glad I got this done, but my mind is not betting on myself on that deal.
There was a lot of discussion, no doubt, about J.K. and his fit with the Golden State Warriors, but one Western Conference front office executive said this: I would fear him the most coming back to the Golden State Warriors. He probably doesn't want to hear it, but if he's coming off the bench for what they call the non-Steph minutes, I think he could be great in the non-Steph staff minutes. He could just come in and get buckets because he has so many tools, and if you find out he could play in the non-Steph minutes, look out, folks. So, hey, there's one person who believes that J.K. can fit with the Golden State Warriors. I think he can as well. I agree with that quote. What about you, Monty?
Yeah, no, when I heard that, I said, you sure? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I mean, this is a team that was in the playoffs last year. He works for one of those teams. And so, I reached out to him, one front office executive, him, and 2 scouts, and a former NBA player who is also a color analyst for a team. And this guy gave me the quote that I thought, okay, this is the way it could go. And I mentioned it too. When we had Aaron Turner on our podcast Dubs Talk a few weeks ago, I brought that quote up, and he's like, I feel the same way. And so the league looks at J.K. and think maybe he can be an issue with the non-Steph minutes.
You see those per 36 minutes there, DJ, for J.K. There's no doubt he had a good series against Minnesota in the second round, in which he averaged over 24.5 points. But you see the numbers right there, over 45% from the floor and over 22 points a game. And I know the Warriors wanted to rebound, but per those 36, he nearly averages 7 rebounds a game.
When Jonathan Kuminga knows his role, when he has more opportunities, you see the numbers rise, no doubt about it, throughout his first 4 years. And as far as his role with the Warriors now on this roster, I don't expect major changes compared to the first 4 years that we saw. Still run the floor. Be that ultra athlete that the Warriors do not have. Get those easy transition buckets. Yes, hitting the glass will be a point of emphasis for the Warriors. Pound some of the best opposing scorers defensively. Use that length and athleticism. But there's going to be ample opportunities also for Jonathan Kuminga. When you look at this team's age, you look at the schedule where he's going to be able to go showcase that he's bought in mentally and he has a physical skill set that I think a lot of teams are eyeing around the NBA.
There will be nights when J.K. leads his team in scoring. I don't know how many, but I'm going to say there will be nights because, first of all, you got the 4 older guys. They're all going to get some nights off. And when those nights off, especially if Steph is down, and if Jimmy's down, J.K.'s got to eat. He's got to eat. And I think he's one of those guys that can do that. We saw what he did in Minnesota when Steph went down. So, maybe, starter, no, he's not fit for that right now with his team. But as a guy coming off the bench, he can raise hell against team second units.
And we'll see about the closing lineups as well. If he's rolling there, we'll see if he can pair with Jimmy, Draymond, Steph, or whatnot. A lot of combinations Steve Kerr can play with. But you guys mentioned the age of this roster, right? Well, the Warriors will be the first team in NBA history that's right to start 4 players aged 35 or above on opening night. Yeah, we know Draymond's age. We know Jimmy Butler's 36. We know Steph is 37. And Al Horford, who just signed with the Golden State Warriors, 39 years young. Well, here's what Steph Curry had to say about the new look roster.
We're just trying to carry the momentum that we had from last year. Understanding getting through an 82-game season is the challenge for every team, but especially a veteran team. But the way that we finished and the record that we had, and obviously before I got hurt during the second round, like we were a relevant threat. And I think we've gotten, better. It's tough to lose Loon. Like that's a big deal, knowing what he meant to our franchise. But we have a lot of pieces that are going to have an opportunity to take that next step. And, like every NBA season, I said the same thing last year, probably at the podium right here. We started 12-3. And then all hell broke loose for a good couple months. So, you can only do what you can to control just your mentality going into the year. And I think it's really optimistic and positive around here, and that's how it should be.
Well, we know the age, 37 years old. But, DJ, can Steph Curry still continue to play at an MVP level? And I'll throw some numbers at you. Before Jimmy Butler arrived, he was shooting just 45% from the floor. I say just because that's not on Steph's level, right? We're used to seeing him go 50, 40, 90. But he was just shy of 40% from the three-point line. But once Jimmy came, his points per game increased by 3. His assist number stayed the same, but his field goal percentage went back up to 47%. So can he still maintain that level of play knowing that he has Jimmy and Al Horford here on the roster?
Steph Curry is undoubtedly at a historic race against Father Time right now. But isn't this the player who keeps changing the definition of what a player's prime truly is? He's extending the goalpost. We're seeing all the work that he does off the floor translates to still the player that he is on the floor, Bonte. And we know that nothing matters more to Steph Curry than going out and winning that 5th ring. He has all the individual accolades. He has the team accolades, but that 5th ring would mean everything to him. And the oldest player, Bonte, to ever average at least 20 points per game in a season and win a championship in that season is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1985 when he averaged 22 points per game in his age 37 season. Wow. Steph Curry is going into his age 37 season, averaged 24.5 points per game last season. Let's sit back and enjoy what Steph Curry's next act is up his sleeve right now.
Yeah, man, I think, Steph, you watch the way athletes take care of themselves now versus they did 20 or 30 years ago. Kareem was playing with Converse, Chuck Taylors and stuff, and you put those shoes on now, you're like, they played in these? And so nowadays you look at the way the guys, the nutrition, you look at the exercise, you look at the calisthenics, you look at the yoga, you look at all these things, and these guys are using all these things to keep themselves ready. LeBron's still going at 40. Yeah. Now, when you get to that age, yeah, you are going to miss some games. And that's just smart basketball because you want to be ready for the postseason. But when you look at where Steph is now, I don't think there's a better conditioned athlete in the league.
You're saying we need yoga? We need to stretch a little bit?
Come on, Looney, the Yoga King.
Yeah, the Yoga King. We miss Loon Dog, no doubt about that. We'll see him down with the New Orleans Pelicans. But Jimmy Butler, what would an NBA Finals triumph mean to Jimmy Buckets? Well, Carrickberg has the exclusive next. The Dubs Talk season preview returns.
Warriors Nation, it looks like the drama around Jonathan Kuminga just won't die down. And now it's taken a wild new twist that could shake up the entire Western Conference. According to multiple reports, the Golden State Warriors may be preparing to part ways with the young 6'8" forward, potentially sending him to a Western Conference rival. And the team being mentioned? None other than the Los Angeles Clippers. This is Warriors Nation News, and what we're diving into today is not just a rumor, it's a defining moment in how the Warriors plan to move forward this season. The question isn't just, will Kuminga be traded? It's why now? Why the Clippers? And what this means for the championship hopes of Golden State. The Kuminga saga, from hope to uncertainty. Jonathan Kuminga's story with the Warriors has been a roller coaster from day one. Drafted 7th overall in 2021, he came in as the next great athletic prospect, a player with the physical gifts of a superstar and the potential to carry the franchise into the post-Steph era. And for a while, it felt like it was all coming together. His flashes of brilliance were electric. The dunks, the energy, the moments when Chase Center erupted after a fast break slam. But somewhere along the way, the connection between Kuminga and the Warriors organization started to fray. This summon made that tension impossible to ignore. A restricted free agency standoff dragged on for months. Negotiations stalled. Rumors swirled that Kuminga wanted a bigger role, that he was frustrated with Steve Kerr's rotations, with being benched in key playoff games, and with what he felt was a lack of trust. The team finally re-signed him to a 2-year, $48 million deal. But even that felt more like a truce than a reunion. Now, according to reports from Bleacher Report and The Sporting News, the Warriors front office is quietly exploring options to move Kuminga, possibly before those tensions boil over during the regular season. Why the Clippers could be the landing spot. Let's talk about the rumor that's got the whole league buzzing, a potential deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are desperate for youth. At an average roster age of 28.4, they're officially the oldest team in the NBA. Their two franchise stars, Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, are nearing the twilight of their primes. Their championship window is closing fast, and they know it. What they don't have and what they need more than ever is a player like Kuminga. Young, explosive, two-way potential, and capable of being the face of the next era. Analyst Greg Schwartz of Bleacher Report even pointed out that with the Clippers signaling they're done building around Kawhi Leonard, Kuminga could step in and learn directly from a two-time Finals MVP, gaining the mentorship and freedom he's been searching for. It's easy to see the appeal for Los Angeles. Kuminga could thrive in an up-tempo system, surrounded by shooters and veteran leadership, finally unleashed to attack, defend, and grow without the constant comparison to legends like Curry and Draymond. Now, let's flip this to the Warriors' perspective, because make no mistake, if the Warriors move Kuminga, it's not going to be for nothing. According to early speculation, a potential trade package could start with veteran forward Derrick Jones Jr. or Bogdan Bogdanović, whose $16 million salary could balance the books, plus valuable draft capital. Jones Jr. would give the Warriors immediate defensive length and athleticism, while Bogdanović would provide elite shooting and floor spacing off the bench, the kind of player who thrives in Steve Kerr's offensive system. Add a pick or two, and suddenly the Golden State gets not just rotation help, but future flexibility, all while keeping their championship core intact. And here's the key. Mike Dunleavy Jr., the Warriors general manager, isn't looking to blow things up. He's looking to retool. He wants a roster that fits around Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Veterans who are still hungry, still competing, and still capable of winning at the highest level. Trading Kuminga for the right piece could bring balance, maturity, and more consistent production to a team that no longer has the luxury of waiting years for player development. Why this might actually help Golden State. Now, I know some fans are already frustrated. The idea of trading a young talent like Kuminga sounds painful, especially after watching flashes of what he could be. But here's the truth. The Warriors are not in rebuild mode. They're in win-now mode. Every decision, every roster tweak, every signing has to be about one thing: winning while Steph Curry is elite. And that's the heart of this story. Kuminga's ceiling is high, but his timeline may no longer align with Golden State's championship window. If he's frustrated about minutes now, what happens when Al Horford, Butler, and Draymond take priority in playoff rotations again? If he's still learning the nuances of Kerr's system, how many more seasons can the Warriors afford to wait? By moving him, the Warriors can bring in veterans or role players who complement Steph's skill set immediately. Shooters who space the floor, defenders who can switch across positions, or secondary playmakers who take pressure off Steph late in games. The locker room factor. Let's not ignore the human side of this. Reports from within the Warriors organization suggest that the tension between Kuminga and the coaching staff hasn't fully healed. While everyone's being professional publicly, there's still an undercurrent of unease. And this is a team that thrives on chemistry. The dynasty years weren't just about talent. They were about unity, trust, and selflessness. From Andre Iguodala to Sean Livingston, every player knew their role and embraced it. If keeping Kuminga means risking that harmony, especially when you've got Jimmy Butler joining the mix, the front office might feel the risk is too great. The bigger picture, Golden State's strategy for the future. If the Warriors do trade Kuminga, it won't be out of desperation. It'll be part of a larger plan. They've already rebuilt their depth this offseason, adding Al Horford's veteran stability, DeAnthony Melton's defense, and Seth Curry's shooting. The bench is deeper than it's been in years. What they're missing is one final piece, a versatile forward who can defend, shoot, and play within Kerr's system without disrupting chemistry. A player like Bogdanović could fill that gap. Or maybe even another surprise name could emerge, someone who fits seamlessly into the Warriors' strength in numbers identity. And here's where it gets exciting. If the Warriors make the right move, they could easily leap back into title contention. With a healthy Curry, a fully engaged Butler, a rejuvenated Draymond, and solid depth across the board, this team has one more run in them. The bottom line? A favorable outlook for the Warriors. So where do we stand? If the Warriors keep Kuminga, and he commits fully, develops, and accepts his role, Golden State could have a dynamic X factor coming off the bench, a player who could grow into a star. But if the disconnect continues, moving him for an immediate impact piece could actually make the Warriors stronger right now. Either way, this is a win-win scenario for the franchise. They've positioned themselves with flexibility. They can either unleash Kuminga's potential or cash in on his trade value to build a more balanced contender around Curry. And make no mistake, this front office isn't panicking. They're calculating. They've seen what happens when you double down on belief. They did it with Wiggins in 2022, and it led to another championship. This could be that moment all over again. So Warriors Nation, what do you think? Should Golden State move on from Kuminga now, or give him one more chance to prove he belongs in this core? Do you think a deal with the Clippers would make sense, or should the Warriors look elsewhere for a better fit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you believe in the Warriors championship DNA. And don't forget to subscribe to Warriors Nation News for every update, rumor, and reaction as this story develops. Because one thing's for sure, the Warriors are not done. Whether it's with Jonathan Kuminga or without him, this team is still chasing banners, still building legacy, and still ready to remind the world that the Bay doesn't rebuild, it reloads.